I'm here with Alison McGarry, ITF Women Transport Workers Coordinator, and Diana Holland, who is Chair of the Women's Committee. We've finished up. Day 2 is over of the Women's Conference. Alison, how do you think it's gone?
I think it's been a very successful conference. We've had 270 sisters from across the globe sharing their experiences, their issues, be it about work or the violence issue, which is the most important issue at the moment for many of the sisters. And we've been 2 intensive days of discussion from which we've been able to start to develop a real action work programme for 2014-18. And the Indian affiliates have been magnificent with their support for the conference, both their logistical support but actually bringing 50 sisters along to the conference to share with us. And I think that's the first time that we've had 50 sisters from India at one of our conferences. So I think I feel on many different levels it's been absolutely excellent conference.
And Diana, you spoke yesterday about how significant it was that we're back here in Delhi for ITF Women. Tell us a bit about that.
Well, in 1998 the ITF Congress was held here, and that was the conference at which we agreed that the women's structures of the ITF, that women transport workers would be written properly into the rules and constitution of the International Transport Workers Federation. Of course women have been there all along, women transport workers of course have been there, but they were not properly recognised, so that was a real milestone. Now, and if we moving forward and looking at between 1998 and now 2014, it hasn't just been about words on bits of paper and structures and meetings here and there. We have made a huge difference. We have mobilised women, women have joined transport unions, we've taken action on a whole range of issues, and I think in the debates at conference that really came out. We had active workshops talking about organising women transport workers. We had quite an absolutely overwhelming and powerful discussion of women and violence against women and violence against women transport workers in particular. And we also have had a street play from which was organised by our Indian affiliates, which I think has moved and shaken us all and recommitted us to what we need to do to end the horrors of violence against women transport workers. We've also talked about leadership, we've talked about discrimination and barriers, and we've built our strengths, and I think that is one of the most important things that we've been able to achieve.
And Alison, Diana touched there on these quite distinct themes that we've had throughout the conference. How do you think that's going to translate into action on the ground?
The themes actually come from the action. The theme of fighting against violence against women comes from the sisters' experience. So it feeds into our work programme and into the day-to-day work that our affiliates are undertaking. It's not, again, as Diana just said, it's not a piece of paper. This is a real work programme. We've also got, we're doing a training programme tomorrow, straight after the conference, with some of our sisters on the issue of violence and how we can get unions to take the issue and really campaign on it with other partners, with other allies in the struggle to stop violence against women. So that theme, the theme of organising, and again Diana referred to it, that's really practical. It's about the sisters who are organisers in, be it the Fish campaign or the DHL campaign, talking about their experiences. And of course all of those experiences go forward and enrich the Congress, but significantly help inform us to plan and to actually shape and deliver a very strong work programme, because it is actually based upon what our women transport workers do in their jobs, in their workplaces every day.
And just finally, Diana, Alison mentioned it briefly there. We're moving into Congress time now. How does what we've done here, how's that going to affect that?
The theme has been from global crisis to global justice. That has underpinned absolutely everything that we've discussed. And I remember one meeting of women transport workers when we were talking about the economy, the impact of the global economic crisis, and there was an overwhelming feeling of everyone feels isolated on their own. What can we do to come together to organise about doing something about it? And what struck me here was in the discussions that we had about the impact of the crisis, we weren't feeling isolated. We were overwhelmed by some of the horrors that are going on, but we were absolutely clear we knew what we had to do, and some of that agenda has grown over the years. And I think what's happened is, be it through organising in trade unions but through organising internationally, what we know is that we are not isolated, we're not on our own, and we can try and take on some of these forces that are affecting us internationally, that are affecting us in our workplaces. We can stand together and say we're not going to have women at the forefront of bearing the brunt of the crisis or the measures that are being taken in order to deal with it, and we're not going to have any transport workers treated the way that they are in some workplaces, some industries, some sectors, some parts of our sectors. And all of us are saying there's a bottom line here. We're not going to be the race to the bottom, we're going to be the race to the top. And transport workers, women transport workers in particular, from my experience here, are very up for ensuring that we move towards global justice. Thank you.
Diana, Chair of the Women's Committee, and Alison, ITF Women Transport Workers Coordinator, thank you. We're here on the final day of the Women's Conference in Delhi.